Good morning, good morning, good morning. 28 minutes on to 7 o'clock. That's a nice song. It is said the fear of God is the beginning of wisdom. Yeah, fear Him. Good morning, good morning, good morning to each and every one of you locked on at this time. Mary E. Banks says good morning, Mary. Mary, you're up early. Mr. Cecil Cadet, good morning to you and the family. Mrs. Laurie and Buddy from Paradise in St. Andrew. You and the entire home circle. The Howsy, everybody, good morning to you all. Hope you all have a wonderful day. Reaching out and saying good morning to the folks inside of Rose Hill in St. Patrick. Mr. Clifton Paul, good morning to you, Papi. How you doing? And the family. That's where I'm hidden. Can't find me there. And even if you do, you can't touch me. You remember that song in school? Yippa. Christmas is definitely in the air, yeah? Sing it, Dennis. Oh boy. Good morning to all our spiritual leaders of the nation. Don't forget to pray for us. Just saw a post on Facebook. Not necessarily all the intricate ideals that are in the Samoa Agreement. I would love to get my hand on a copy of it. I'd love to read it through. Rather contentious. Yeah. Nice, Dennis, nice. You're gone, but your music turning up waves. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Good morning. Good morning. It's 26 minutes on to the 7 o'clock. It's Good Morning Grenada on Classic, and that's classic, you know, not just any and anything. Lynette Hercules, blessed day to you, Mr. Joseph. Thank you, Lynette. Catherine Phillip, good morning, Grenada. Good morning, Innocent, my beautiful island. Good morning, Catherine. Cameron Andrew, good morning, my colleagues, them. Good morning, Sir Innocent and Ting. Oh boy, you more Jamaican than Jamaican himself. Dr. Love, Jeremy Christopher, good morning. How you do, Papi? Dr. Love in the house. Dr. Love, morning. How is Latas doing? How are those pigs? How are the pigs going? Sharon Bartholomew, good morning everyone from Northern Virginia, where it's 31 degrees going up to 41 for a high today. You like that? Monica Mayrose Williams, a pleasant good morning from Miami. Also, Daddy Godwin says good morning. Listen, tell Daddy Godwin to give me a call, man. Haven't seen you in ages, man. Right. Chris Hutchinson, Mr. Joseph, morning. Now, who is Chris now? I know Michael, I know Mike. Mikey. Who is Chris? Good morning, Chris. Good morning to all the Chris. all the Chris's. All right, nice. Let's get with the program, right? We have a busy morning this morning. We've got two different sets of guests. So I will be talking with Mr. Tyrone Buckmire from the Legal Aid and Counseling Clinic. And I will also be talking with someone from the NTRC, National Telecommunications Regulatory Commission. Yeah, so it's going to be a relatively busy morning. So let's get with it. The word of the day today, that word is kinetic. 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 All right, it has several meanings that all have to do with movement. In physics, kinetic means of or relating to the motion of material bodies and the forces associated with them. Kinetic energy, for example, is energy associated with motion. Okay, more generally, kinetic can be used synonymously with active and lively, as well as dynamic and energizing. And kinetic art is art such as sculpture or assemblage that has mechanical parts which can be set in motion. That's a long one. But it's a nice word. It's a good word. Kinetic energy. Anybody from McDonald College could remember Mr. Finlayson, who taught us physics? Yeah, he was one of the Peace Corps teachers. And Mr. Williamson, who taught us maths. And Mr. Land, who taught us Spanish. Could you imagine an American coming to teach us Spanish? Oh my goodness me. Good old days from McDonald College. Mr. Keith Peters, KP, good morning. Former teacher at McDonald College. Mr. Jim Chief Alexander. Morning, Chief. You and the family, how do you do? Nice. Now here's how we can use the word, right? The novel's plot is kinetic and fast-paced, and its effect on the reader is much like that of caffeine. Okay. The novel's plot is kinetic and fast-paced, and its effect on the reader is much like that of caffeine. We can also say the Loft District is the locus of the city's kinetic art scene. All right. Write it down, jot it down, learn to spell it, learn to pronounce it, learn to use it in your writing and your speech, and make your conversations decorative. Good morning, Kelisha and family out there in the Moai. Good morning, how do you do? Fan. And the troublesome little boy, brisk as ever. Morning, moms, how do you do? Morris and Louise and the entire home circle, good morning. You think it's easy to take it easy? All right, it's time for the thought of the day, and it says, I found that wanting fast results led only to despair, but a steady effort over 5 years transformed all of life. Consistency. Yeah, consistency, that's the name of the game. Keep doing it. Alright, there are times you might have to change your path. You might have to change how you do it, but never stop doing it. Keep doing it. The results will come with time. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Use different methodologies, different techniques. You understand? But never stop. Change direction, change your path, but stay focused on that goal, okay? Nice. Reaching out and saying good morning to my good friend Danley Alexis out there in St. Patrick. Which part of St. Patrick you from again? You and the family, how are you doing? Hope you all are doing fine. Nice. Chris Hutchinson, he said, boss, we went MDC. Okay. So, Chris, you remember Mr. Finlayson and Mr. Williamson and Miss Gulaya, the English teacher from Guyana? Yeah, Guyana, some folks say. All right. Judy Lewis says, good morning, Innocent and others. Elizabeth Williams says, good morning. Alison Thomas, good morning. Watching from Vincennes. How is Vincennes this morning? All right. Cameron Andrew, what me feeling kind of kinetic. Listen to me, man. Talk Grenadian to me now. How are this? Dr. Love Jeremy Christopher, thank you for the new word. Hey, Papi, well, you're just joining us, and you're getting that every morning, you know. Cheryl Seeley, blessed morning to everyone online. Hey. Jennifer Lawrence, good morning, all. Good morning, Innocent. Good morning, Jennifer. How are you this morning in the US of A? Nice. Cheryl Charles says, good morning. Greetings to Grenada. Reaching out and saying good morning to my good friend Denson out there in paradise. How you doing, Papi? Innocent blessed Tuesday morning to everyone in Grenada. Lydia Cameron. Good morning, Lydia. How are you? Lydia, are you coming home for Christmas? Good morning to you, Judland, Sylvie, Daphne, Nicholas. Good morning, good morning. How do you do? How's Nai? Are you feeling with the cold? Coughing still? 18 minutes on to 7 o'clock. That is the time. I hope that you, hey, 7 o'clock workers, you should be almost there, all right? Or else you're late. You've got to be on the JOB. You know, some folks say JOB or job means just above broke. Just above broke. Or just over broke. JOB. Just over broke. I didn't know that. Okay, all right. Good morning to you, Haven Hill. How are you doing this morning? Mommy Gwenny, inside of Tibaid? No, that is Belial. Just mix them up sometime. How do you do? You alright, Mr. Crawford Best? Good morning to you and the folks at the Country Kitchen. Any green peas soup yet? Huh? Alright. Yes, nice. Someone said they're going for dry pea soup yesterday. How was that, boy? I don't know how that dry pea soup went down. I hope it was awesome as usual. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Okay, it's just about the time for us to kind of wrap up this first segment as we head into the AM edition of News, Sports, and the Weather here. And those of you who are on the television platform, we've got a rebroadcast of last evening's television news. Before I go, I want to say good morning to the folks at Six Senses. Yeah, Curlin and everybody else. Antonica, Juan, Anika, who else? Isaac. Hey folks, don't forget the rugby comes up this weekend. As I said, Isaac. Yeah, rugby is on this weekend at the National Stadium. Yeah, nice. Florence, good morning too. Nice. Good. All right, folks, we've got to do that break. We've got the AM edition of News, Sports, and the Weather coming up. See you on the flip side of 7. Bye-bye.
It's a happier holiday when every wish and dream can come alive for those you love and cherish with a loan from Nexa Credit Union. Just think of the experiences you could share, the surprises you could gift, and the memories you could make with a little extra in your pocket this Christmas. Our Happier Holiday Loan is about the happiness and warmth it can bring because there's no need to worry. Unwrap more than just gifts. Experience heartfelt connections and joyous celebrations with family and friends. Get up to $50,000 for home furnishings, renovations, gifts, and more while enjoying easy repayment terms, affordable interest rates, and quick approvals. So, dream a little bigger and enjoy discounts galore at our favorite partner stores. Make your holidays happier with Nexa. Call us at 440-1354. Visit our website at nexacreditunion.com or email us at loans@nexacreditunion.com. Nexa Credit Union, with you wherever your road leads.
Police have announced the arrest of 3 men in connection with unrelated shooting incidents, including 2 homicides. The death of Delvon Thomas, who was killed in Mount Egmont in August, and the death of St. Vincent National Dexter Chance on September 11th are among the cases in which arrests were made. The announcements were made during a media conference Monday morning by officer in charge of the Criminal Investigations Department, Superintendent Issa Pear.
To the welcome Woburn shooting incident, 1 person had been arrested and charged. 1 person had been arrested and charged, and the investigations continue. We had a Trinidadian arrested and charged for the welcome shooting, and we also did mention a person of interest for the Mount Egmont shooting, being that of a Trinidadian national.
Police have kept mum on the identities of the men arrested in these matters. The ranking officer said that the RGPF is very concerned with the trend of gun violence in Grenada. Commissioner of Police Don McKenzie said that out of the 18 homicides recorded this year, 6 are gun-related.
Of the 18 homicides that we have, 6 of it, a firearm was used in the commission of that offense, which is 1 is too much. And Grenadians seems to think that, and I appeal to a lot of our men, that the final determination as to who is destined, who a bullet is destined for, is very transactional. Today, you might be the whole of the firearm. Tomorrow, you might be on the other end.
The Royal Grenada Police Force have been working towards ensuring illegal firearms are off the streets. Commissioner McKenzie reported that over 40 guns were confiscated in 2023, which triples the numbers on record in 2022.
Mr. Speaker, we have seen for 2023 thus far, we have seen a significant increase in seizures of firearms. In 2022, there were a total of 12 firearms being seized. Thus far, 2023, that number is in excess of 45. The question is, and what we must ponder, clearly, the RGPF, it's not a lack of effort. We seized over 300% as compared to last year.
A Belmont St. George man is being ordered to spend the next 31 years of his life behind bars at the Richmond Hill prison for the offense of non-capital murder. Michael McQueen was a 54-year-old security guard when he was implicated in connection with the death of 83-year-old Franklin St. Paul, the brother of former High Court Judge Justice Lyle St. Paul, just over 5 years ago. Nisha Paul has this report.
High Court Judge Madame Justice Paula Guilford handed down the sentence at the St. George's No. 1 High Court, bringing an end to the 5-year-old matter last week Friday. As part of the sentence, Michael McQueen was also ordered to undergo counseling while incarcerated. McQueen's arrest and charge follow an incident at the home of the deceased at Belmont in St. George on October 22, 2017. Which resulted in him receiving several bruises to his face and body. St. Paul died at the St. George's General Hospital, where he was hospitalized for approximately 1 month. McQueen was represented in the matter by attorney Jerry Edwin.
Mr. McQueen was the tenant of an elderly gentleman. And the evidence at a trial of this matter indicated that from the victim's own mouth that he was struck repeatedly about his body and other parts of his face and head and eyes by Mr. McQueen. Mr. McQueen continues to deny that he played any role whatsoever in this offense, but a jury of his peers found him guilty. And so the judge in her sentence Man is 60 years old. But the law says that the age of a convicted person is not to be considered in a sentence. And so Mr. McQueen will be quite an old man when he comes from Richmond Hill Prison.
McQueen had turned down what his attorney describes as an extremely generous offer from the Office of the Director of Public Prosecution for the lesser offense of grievous harm, opting instead to go to trial. Attorney Edwin says it is more than likely that his client will appeal the 31-year sentence.
That because of the sense Mr. McQueen has that he didn't get satisfaction from the High Court, he may well appeal his sentence. And for that reason, we would advise him accordingly. Bearing in mind that one has to obtain a transcript from the High Court, and given Mr. McQueen's lack of resources, it will take some time before a transcript is prepared, but I'm sure it will be, and then to appeal the matter to the Court of Appeal.
For GBN News, I'm Nisha Paul.
Refusal to pay, instances of robbery. Just two issues causing some bus operators to end their workday early. However, this is impacting commuters who are finding it difficult to get transportation after completing their day's work. Rena Pierre-Thomas spoke with executive members of the National Bus Association and bus operators on the St. David's route on the challenges faced and possible solutions to the issue.
Numerous videos on social media are making their rounds, showing commuters stranded at the St. George's bus terminal. It has been a challenge for many to get public transport from as early as 7 p.m. on some routes. The issue, which has come to the fore several times over the years, continues to raise eyebrows in the public domain, as requests have been made to those in authority to find a solution. To get a better understanding of what are some of the challenges responsible for this issue, we spoke to Ernest Greenwich, bus operator on the St. David's route for over 20 years.
Some of us leave home, let's say after 5 in the mornings and so on. When it comes to those times, that when we reach 5 o'clock, that's 12-hour shift already, right? Safety is the name of the game. If you have to operate all that late hours, go back to, let's say, 7 o'clock, and that's 14 hours and so on. You know, a lot of us would be tired and so on. There is the issue of piracy. That some of those things happen, and sometimes when you come down, you don't meet some of the passengers. They travel with other buses and so on. So it's like a loss. You go up, you have to go back up empty. One of the other challenges is that the terminal closes at 8 o'clock. So really and truly, when you come back down here, there is hardly any activity.
Greenwich said that reports have been made in the past of passengers refusing to pay their fees, and another issue is that of robbery.
Yes, people not wanting to pay the bus fee, the correct fee. Some saying they don't know. Let's say that you don't know, but you have to put yourself in a position to know the things that are right, you know, what the legal fees are, you know. I gather that an operator and two operators, the conductor and the driver, you know, they had to run after they people basically assaulted them and so on. That are right, you know, what the legal fees are, you know. Earlier on in the year, conductor got cut from his ear down to his mouth. People do have people waiting in particular areas. I haven't heard much of those types of things happening, but it has happened before and so on, you know. Christmas time, I remember that I was stopping in a particular area in St. David's, and then I noticed some guys coming up from the bushes somewhere, and then I just proceeded. So, you know, it was kind of Christmas Eve, it was kind of late and so on, and it was kind of sketchy, so I actually just left, you know.
Public Relations Officer for the National Bus Association, Derek McKenzie, said that they have been working with the Transport Board to improve the sector and to come up with a strategy on how this can be done.
As it stands, we await the copy of the transport study, which we have confirmation that the study was actually completed in October. We we have written to the Transport Commission requesting a copy as it was promised in the one meeting that we held sometime during the course of the year, the middle of the year. And that study is important to determine the way forward in terms of all the challenges that we are faced with in the industry in terms of security, price, bus fare increase, bus stops, and the list goes on, never ending. It's a comprehensive study, and we need a copy of the study so that we could actually study it and to match the recommendations with some of the recommendations that we recommended or have, and to see how we can better the service that we provide and to improve the transportation sector.
Rena P. Thomas, GBN News.
The Ministry of Health is set to observe World AIDS Day with a week-long series of activities to raise awareness about HIV/AIDS and underscore the significance of community testing. Beverly Telesford will tell us more.
The Health Ministry's week of activities to commemorate World AIDS Day on Friday aims not only to commemorate the global event, but also to emphasize the critical role that community engagement and testing play in the ongoing fight against the spread of the virus. Ralph Van Baptiste, rapid tester within the Ministry of Health, said at the heart of this initiative is the emphasis on community testing. Recognizing the pivotal role it plays in early detection and subsequent treatment, the Ministry of Health aims to dispel stigmas associated with testing while promoting a culture of regular health checkups within communities.
We plan to do a number of community outreach and do testing at some of our locations, and even education as well. Education plays an important role in dealing with HIV and AIDS. If once we can get communities to be tested and to understand the whole concept of HIV and AIDS, then it would help reduce the amount of cases we get on a yearly basis. We would also help reducing the myth as well that goes along with HIV and AIDS. And when community is involved, then we know the community is what makes our society, and the society what makes up our nation. So there we would realize by having community involvement, then we would be able, to reach a larger scale of persons because it's a community effort.
During a recent update on the status of the health sector, Chief Medical Officer Dr. Sean Charles said major strides were made in Grenada's HIV/AIDS program, with further development expected for 2024. He said more treatment options have been made available for children this year through the provision of new and updated drugs.
Priorities include increasing testing for HIV and STI, increasing education among targeted population groups, include adequate treatment options for children under 5 especially, data collection and management, and expand HIV services into primary care.
The aim for 2024 is to integrate HIV and AIDS into primary health care.
A counselor was added to the department, and now this service is being offered to all the clients. In 2024, they would like to expand HIV into primary health care, continue to make testing available, rapid tests available throughout the country in all districts, enhance, offer continuing development training courses to staff, collaborate with the Ministry of Health in training of HIV teachers, and to include relevant HIV and STI information in the programs, to include chlamydia, gonorrhea, and hepatitis B and C rapid tests, and to establish client support for people living with HIV.
World AIDS Day, observed annually on December 1st, serves as a global reminder of the ongoing battle against HIV and AIDS and the importance of uniting communities in the fight against the epidemic. Reporting for GBN News, Beverly Telesford.
Domestic violence negatively impacts families locally and by extension globally. The government is looking at strategic ways to end the scourge in Grenada. Christina John will tell us more.
Government is channeling efforts towards the establishment of a new mechanism to better address domestic violence at a national level. Speaking at the start of 16 Days of Activism campaign, which began on November 25th, and ends on December 10th, Minister with responsibility for social and community development and gender affairs, Gloria Thomas, said despite continued focused efforts, gender-based violence continues to affect Grenada in a significant way.
As a ministry, we recognize that comprehensive and multi-sectorial solutions are required, and as such, we are aiming for the establishment of a subnational response mechanism and a national response mechanism for better coordination of the essential services related to gender-based violence. We have already completed the parish-level training of multi-sectorial teams and targeted training of the police, magistrates, a judge, prosecutors, social service providers, health professionals, and civil society.
Ms. Thomas highlighted some gray areas that might have contributed to them not being able to adequately address gender-based violence.
We are aware of the many challenges faced due to reasons including gaps in criminal law and procedure, gender stereotypes, victim blaming, limited resources, and inadequate responses. However, we will continue to assiduously address these issues for Better Grenada, Carriacou, and Pitimatnik.
The Social Development Minister called for a collective effort in tackling this societal scourge, highlighting the World Health Organization's observation that women and girls who are physically and otherwise challenged find it difficult to have their voices heard and to access support.
Together, we need to change the narrative surrounding gender-based violence. We need to debunk the myths, challenge misogyny, and hold perpetrators accountable. No space should be susceptible to hiding perpetrators. Women and girls, every part of the world, must be able to live a life free from violence.
16 days of activism against gender-based violence is an annually observed period that begins on November 25th, the International Day for the Elimination of Violence Against Women, and runs until Human Rights Day on December 10th. Christelina John, GBN.
A one-week training hosted by the Integrity Commission kicked off today, Monday, with an aim to educate the public on how to identify and minimize corruption within an organization. More in this Rena Pierre-Thomas report.
The Integrity Commission will be hosting its 2023 Virtual Center for Excellence series this week under its Senior Leadership and Management Annual Regional Training Program. The series runs from today, Monday, to Friday, December 1st under the scholarship of the Commonwealth Secretariat and the Government of Grenada in collaboration with the Department of Public Administration, DPA. Chairperson of the Integrity Commission, Ms. Gillian Bristol, said the aim of the training is to educate public servants, non-government organizations, and the public on putting mechanisms in place to minimize corruption within organizations.
This training program is somewhat unique to Grenada in that we have this role for conducting this kind of training for not only Grenada and the public sector in Grenada, but also throughout the Caribbean. Grenada has been designated as the Center for Excellence by the Commonwealth Secretariat in recognition and an acknowledgement, really, of the progressive stance that Grenada has taken over the years since 2015 and before in 2007 with the enactment of an Integrity in Public Life law.
Ms. Bristol said the program is unique to the island.
The other thing that we try to share with them to strengthen what they're trying to do and all that they have to do is that they need to have the proper mechanisms and structures in place within their departments, units, ministries, wherever it may be, whether it's in the police force or statutory body. Everybody needs to have mechanisms that help to prevent corruption, to take away opportunities for corrupt behavior, because sometimes you open the door, you allow people to behave in certain ways. So we have to have mechanisms and structures You have to have checks and balances. You have to have evaluation processes and intermittent or regular evaluation and assessment and reviews to see what's happening. So through the training, we also give them recommendations for practical solutions to real problems and real challenges.
The training is held under the theme Understanding the Power of Teamwork in the Fight Against Corruption. Dr. Roger Corentang, advisor and head of the Public Sector Governance Unit, Commonwealth Secretariat, is the lead facilitator for the program.
The role of the Commonwealth is to help member countries to face up or to deal with corruption, which is a mandate given by all the heads of Commonwealth countries, which is now 56 of them. And our mandate is to come into a country that will interested in dealing with corruption. And that's why I'm here. And I must say, the government and the people, particularly the Integrity Commission of Grenada, has played a very, very important role in promoting anti-corruption fight.
Over 10 people from various sectors are participating in the training. Rena P. Thomas, GBN News.
Tonight's GBN ISA features 2 cruise ships as the tourism industry welcomes cruise season. It's time for your GBN ISA.
A good eye catches all. GBN ISA is brought to you by Clearvision.
It's cruise season. As cruise calls continue to pour into Grenada, the island's tourism industry continues to benefit significantly. On Sunday, 2 cruise ships were photographed on the docks at the St. George's Cruise Ship Terminal. Tourism holds significant importance for Grenada, contributing significantly to the country's economy, cultural preservation, and overall development. The tourism industry creates jobs across various sectors, including hospitality, transportation, tour guiding, and entertainment. We look forward to a fruitful cruise ship season. Send us your photo and video submissions via WhatsApp at 405-3052 or our other social media platforms.
I'm a VIP. I'm a VIP.
I am a VIP. I am vaccinated. I am immunized. I am protected. Our children and nation depend on vaccination for immunization. Childhood vaccination is national priority. It is their protection from disease and sicknesses. Let's all be VIPs and safeguard our beautiful Grenada. I am DJ Blackstorm and I am a VIP health champion. Be a VIP like me.
Let's all be VIP champions.
A message from the Ministry of Health, Wellness and Religious Affairs. Be a VIP Childhood Vaccination and Immunization Campaign in collaboration with UNICEF and the Pan American Health Organization.
Hi, good day. My name is Kyle Sylvester. I am the manager and founder of Case Farming Enterprise. We're an agro-processing business that are involved in the processing of agricultural goods, where we do bottle seasoning packs, lettuce, kale, and broccoli. Sometimes we as human beings get sick or injured on the job. NS provides a safety net for us. I am here to encourage other entrepreneurs and self-employed persons to sign up under the NIS Self-Employment Program.
Make this season merry with Quartz Ready Cash. Get all you need with a cash loan of up to $20,000 and pay nothing for 90 days. That's right, you pay nothing until 2024. Plus, you can enter to win up to $20,000 in the Ready Cash Mega Money Roadshow. All you need is your ID, proof of address, payslip, job letter, and 2 references. Apply online at shopquartz.com or visit your nearest Quartz or Ready Cash store and make the season merry with Quartz Ready Cash. We are ready when you are. Conditions apply.
Imagine a Christmas where you decide the gifts. Win exquisite furniture, delectable festive food, and a vibrant house facelift. The best part? You choose how much of each you desire, tailoring your perfect Christmas blend. Simply shop with us this festive season, and you could be one of many lucky winners. Whether you engage online, join our community events, or shop in store, multiple ways lead to winning. And every week, win delightful surprises just for being a part of our festive spirit. Real Value IGA Supermarket, where you tailor and we deliver the Christmas magic.
Why wish upon a star? Our bank is better by far.
This Christmas, make all your wishes come true with Co-op Bank. Get 100% financing on new vehicles and up to $50,000 cash with discounted rates. No security required. Drive out in style. Make those home renovations. Treat your family and friends and get everything on your Christmas list this year. Apply today and you can be one of 5 lucky customers to win a shopping spree. Or how about some extra fuel for that new ride? And that's not all. Use our electronic banking channels to do transactions and win big. Have it all as you wish this Christmas with Co-op Bank. Visit our website for more details. Terms and conditions apply.
Hello everyone. Here is an invitation to join me this and every Sunday until December 17th on GBN Television and K105 FM from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. for Yuletide Sundays. Great music, gifts, and all the wonderful things of Christmas. Yuletide Sundays comes to you compliments Hubbard's, quality service, affordable prices, Grenville Credit Union, Gittins Healthcare, and Clear Vision Eye Center.
Good morning. It's 15 minutes after the hour of 7 o'clock, and it's time for the conversation. And as I told you earlier this morning, I am joined at this time by my good friend, very, very good friend. People like that, I usually refer to them as the Honorable. So I'm speaking this morning with the Director of the Legal Aid and Counseling Clinic, Mr. the Honorable Tyrone Buckmire. Good morning, boss. How are you this morning?
Good morning, Gordon. Thank you very much. I will suspend the honorable for now. I don't want anybody to say I'm being pretentious, but thank you for the invitation. Good morning to your audience.
All right. Good. Well, it's about ending violence against women and girls, and that's a topic that you and I are very, very familiar with. You understand? And I'm surprised that we still have this battle on our hands. I thought that malady has, been extinct. I did not know that, gender-based violence was still prevalent. So that's what the gist of our conversation this morning. All right, and to get into it in the preamble stage, I'd like you, for the people who do not know, who might have heard a lot about legal aid and so forth, and they always brand it about this group of people always taking the side of the women and so forth. The things that they always say. So could you kind of introduce us to what is the Legal Aid and Counseling Clinic? What does it do and things like that, the background of it?
Right. So Legal Aid and Counseling Clinic actually is quite an old institution in the sense that it's not 35 years old. The Legal Aid and Counseling Clinic was established in 1988, 35 years ago. It was established by Grenada Community Development Agency, Grenada. So Legal Aid is a brainchild of Grenada and the former Secretary General Secretary Judy Williams and the board of directors from back then. When Legal Aid and Counseling Clinic was first established, the idea was to be able to provide direct services for especially, persons of low income, farmers, fisher folk, and persons who, in the normal scheme of things, may not have been able to avail themselves of legal services because of the costs of such services. So it was to provide the opportunity for persons from the lower income bracket, which predominantly were in those days, as I said, farmers, fisher folks, women, female single-headed household leaders, and so on, who needed to get legal advice, legal support, legal representation around a number of issues, but may not have been able to afford the cost of doing it, or were intimidated by the very process of seeking that kind of support. The counseling aspect came in because Legal Aid realized early in the game that a lot of the persons who came to the clinic seeking what they thought was strictly legal advice on a number of issues, a lot of it turned out to be issues solve or reach agreement on if they had conversations, in terms of if they had somebody who could help them to mediate the issues, navigate the different sides of the issues, and then come to resolutions without necessarily having to have resort to the legal process. So the counseling component came in immediately because there was a need to help persons, and a lot of these cases were brothers and sisters, family, sibling, and other family type issues that persons felt they needed to go to court over, but rarely could resolve, work out, reach agreement on if they had somebody who was willing to help them mediate. So Legal Aid has been around since 1988. That is the genesis of it. But over time, the agency has become involved in work that a lot of different areas of work, specifically work around ending gender-based violence, domestic violence, and child sexual abuse in the country. So Legal Aid has become one of the forefront agencies and advocates for activities, for programs, for legislation that will have an impact on the issue of, domestic violence, gender-based violence, violence against children. We do a number of different programs, which I will talk some more about as we go through this conversation, Gordon. But that is kind of a snapshot. The agency, has the benefit of working with a number of organizations locally and outside of Grenada, and more importantly, a number of partners within the Grenadian societal context, different government and non-government organizations that share the mission of the agency, with whom we work very closely. And I'm happy to speak more about this as we go along.
Okay. All right. So we know that, as you alluded a while ago, what it really intended to do, it has done a whole lot more than that. All right. So
of necessity.
Of necessity. Yes. Okay. So that includes legal advice, representation, research, advocacy, counseling, psychoeducational programming. All right. Yes. That's one of your hallmarks. All right. And also by extension, public education. Now, when we talk that, we know it's a case of victim versus victor. All right, the abuser and the abused. Now, what are some of the legal rights available to survivors of gender-based violence, and how does the Legal Aid and Counseling Clinic assist in ensuring these rights are protected?
Right, so before I answer that directly, Gordon, I want to challenge the word victor. So there are survivors, victims, persons who have been victimized by abusers who survive gender-based violence. The majority of them survive, thank God, although unfortunately every now and again we do have it goes so bad that it comes to loss of life. But perpetrators or abusers are not victors.
I agree.
Gender-based violence, especially gender-based violence, is driven by a need on the part of the abuser to exert power and control over the abused person, right? So I would very, very strongly hesitate to refer to them as victors, because a lot of the people who use violence as a means of exerting power and control, they're weaklings. They use violence as a way of trying to show that they have power, and they exercise in what they perceive as their power over persons who depend on them, whether for economic, financial, material support, and so on. So I just wanted to clarify that.
And you're right.
I don't want anybody to get the impression.
Wrong choice of words.
That we endorse this, that these abusers are in any way victorious. They're not victorious.
They are weaklings.
Yeah, weaklings. And that's my position on
Good.
And so how does legal aid work in terms of trying to advise survivors of their rights and so on? Well, through our public education program that we will occasionally do, through opportunities like this, where, as part of the Spotlight Initiative project, we were able to attract some funding from a number of different United Nations specialized agencies operating in the region to do work around legal advice and legal support, some legal representation, public awareness building through public engagements, and primarily through the psychoeducational programs that you mentioned. Our hallmark, as you say, our flagship programs, if you will, are around the work to eradicate gender-based violence. So, for example, we have the Man-to-Man program, which is a specific program that was designed as a regional initiative in 2000 in the early 2000s, and was piloted in Grenada in 2005, and have subsequently worked in a number of countries. That is what we call a psychoeducational program, as opposed to a strictly one-on-one counseling initiative. The Man-to-Man is a program that brings together perpetrators, persons who have been arrested and charged with offenses under the domestic violence legislation, actual use of physical violence, the threatening to use violence, threatening language, those kinds of offenses, who have been sent by the court, by magistrates or judges, to participate in this Man-to-Man program, which is a program that is based on perpetrator accountability, holding the perpetrator, the abuser, accountable for his actions in relation to the violence or the offenses that were committed. That is a 16-week-long program that we've been running since 2005 in Grenada, and we recently concluded the 34th 16-week cycle. So 16 weeks long. Each cycle, as we refer to it, is 16 weeks long, and we have completed 34 cycles in Grenada since 2005. We have another program which is more focused on the survivors, which is called Changes, which is a survivors empowerment program. And we created that program as a homegrown program, meaning that it was developed sort of organically through Legal Aid and Counseling Clinic by our staff, because we realized that while we were working with the perpetrators under a court mandate, there were a number of survivors who needed some sort of support to empower themselves, to help them reconnect with their own sense of identity, with their values, and to see themselves as special, unique, and capable beings, despite having been, in abusive relationship and abusive circumstances. So the Changes Support Survivors Empowerment Program is also one of the programs that we offer directly in response to this issue of dealing with gender-based violence, with domestic violence, or what we call, in fact, specific to, in the context of these programs, in intimate partner violence, which is another form of violence against women and girls.
So having said that, right, Man to Man happens to be one of your flagship psycho-educational program. Are there any success stories coming out of Man to Man?
Well, actually, yes. We have, over the course of the 34 cycles that we've run between 2005 and now, we've actually had more than 496 men who have successfully completed the program. That is not to say only 496 men have been referred by the courts and so on. We've had many, many more than 496. But 496 men have successfully completed, meaning participated in the 16 cycles, met the criteria for successful completion, and as of now, to our knowledge, less than 10% of these men, which would be 49.6 if you're doing a strict math thing, have reoffended. So that means that the program has been successful in teaching men that violence against intimate partners and children and extension family members. Violence is wrong. Violence is a choice. It is learned behavior, and that you can make a decision not to be violent, right? The program, as I said, is based on perpetrator accountability, working through 16 sessions with these perpetrators to get them to understand that they made a choice to be violent. They made a choice to use violence against someone, and they could have chosen to do otherwise. And here are the ways that they could learn to better negotiate, communicate, resolve conflicts, and so on. So in terms of the statistical success, as I said, if you have had 496 people do anything, and out of that only less than 10% have reoffended, that means you have a fairly high level of success. I don't want to name individuals who've gone through the program and have been successful, but you have had a long association with legal aid and counseling clinics, and so you have a very good idea.
Well,
you have been involved in the program at different levels as well.
You want to safeguard me, but it's open, and I want you to use that I'm a success story in that, but we have to make it categorically clear that I was never referred to the program by the court or anything like that. I realized I had anger issues, and I sought help, and I got, and as a matter of fact, give me the flowers before I die. I was such a good participant to the program that I eventually came back and run some of legal aid psychoeducational programs.
So. Right, and that's important, Gordon. So thank you for being willing to say this openly.
Of course.
But I'm glad you made the point about the referral pathway, because while I said the program is court mandated, so the majority of the participants to the man-to-man program have been court mandated, we do make allowance for voluntary enrollment. So there are persons who, like yourself, recognize that you may have an issue and proactively seek help for this issue, who can be welcomed into the program once they are willing to follow the same rules and guidelines of those persons who are court mandated. So for those persons out there who feel that they would like to get some sort of support for dealing with issues, anger management, and so on, legal aid could be an avenue, could provide that kind of support, even if you do not have a court mandate and the big stick of the legal system hanging. So I really appreciate that you're willing to make that disclosure, and it gave me the opportunity to be able to say that it is not only court mandated. There are people who come by virtue of being arrested and charged, and then there are persons who come because they recognize in themselves, which is the first sign of really being able to get help, is recognizing that you need the help and are willing to make the steps together. So I know we have a short time and a number of things to cover. So we could.
The other thing I want to touch on, right? Programs of that nature usually have a lot of hiccups. All right. What are some of the main challenges Legal Aid and Counseling Clinic face in terms of rolling out these programs and the volume of work that you all do? What are some of the challenges that you are faced?
Rolling out the program was not necessarily difficult in Grenada because we really put a lot of groundwork into training facilitators. This is in 2005. To implement the program, working with the courts to give them this opportunity as an option to refer men into the program, and there was a very high public pickup of the program, especially at the judiciary level back in the day. Some of the challenges in terms of the direct working of the program was the fact that traditionally, a lot of men in our society learned from whomever the persons in their lives and through whatever means, have gotten the impression that it's okay for a man, if you're a man and you have a relationship, you have a family, it is okay for you to manage your family, to manage the people who depend on you. It's almost like if you have a right to exert your influence over the family through the use of violence and so on. So when we started doing the program, the first few cycles, a number of men sort of seemed to think that it was their right to punish and to manage and to discipline the people in their lives, and who are we to be telling them that that they shouldn't. But the premise of the program is this: if you're in a relationship with a consenting adult, you're not that person's parent. You don't have the right to punish your partner, to treat your partner as you would your child, because you feel you're the provider or the breadwinner or whatever. So those are some, in terms of some of the personal level issues. But beyond those, the bigger challenges that can impact the work of an agency like Legal Aid and Counseling Clinic for the delivery of all of our work is the funding side, for the reality of the need for funding, right? The Legal Aid and Counseling Clinic has been blessed because for more than 20 years now, the government of Grenada has been providing a subvention to the agency, which does assist us quite significantly in meeting our annual operating expenditure to run all our programs, because these programs are all done at no cost to the participants. But even with the government subvention, occasionally, you do need to have other funds to make up the shortfall between what the subvention will allow you to cover and all your needs. Again, we have been quite blessed, I would say, because over 35 years, we have managed to continue all our programs apace, because we do have really good relationships with organizations like the UN specialized agencies in the region. So, for example, UN Women, UNFPA, PAHO, UNICEF, which have funded different aspects of the work that we do over the years. So the government of Grenada provides some support. Agencies like the UN specialized agencies, organizations like the Maria Holden Memorial Trust out of Barbados. These are organizations that have come forward, seen the work that we're doing, recognize the value of the work and the impact we're having, and continue to support us. And I want to make a special plug here, as I talk about the UN specialized agencies, of this project called the Spotlight Initiative. This was a global project that was, funded by the UN, the European Union, and the UN system, with the UN system having the responsibility for executing the project globally. So in the region, through the UN multi-country office for, in Barbados and a number of the specialized agencies I mentioned, different agencies were responsible for different pillars of the Spotlight Initiative project. So Legal Aid was able to attract funding from both, as I said, UN Women, PAHO, and UNICEF, to do a number of initiatives, including things like the Man-to-Man program, assisting with changes, assisting Grenada through Legal Aid and directly through the Ministry of Social Development and other social partners, a number of things. So we've been able to revise and update a lot of our legislations, operating procedures, protocols, and actually do programs on the ground level within the organization. So the Spotlight Initiative presented a wonderful opportunity for the state of Grenada including the government and the non-government sector, to attract funding and technical support from the UN system to implement a number of programs. And the Spotlight Initiative project was specifically around the elimination of gender-based violence globally. So in all the countries that the project worked, the goal was the same. And so between 2020 and 2023, Legal Aid was a beneficiary of, well, Legal Aid was a contractor under the project to different UN agencies, which allowed us to provide legal advice, legal representation for women who were dealing with things like protection orders, divorces, and other issues, training for facilitators to run a number of our psychoeducational programs, revision of, as I said, of guidelines, protocols, toolkits, development of some of these documents and instruments to help the legal system, the government, and the non-government sector to be better able to respond to issues of dealing with gender-based violence. And the project, the Spotlight Initiative project, is officially coming to an end. I think the closing out ceremony in Grenada will be held tomorrow. So I want to go on the record as the Director of Legal Aid and Counseling Clinic on behalf of the non-government sector in Grenada, and to a lesser extent on behalf of the government of Grenada as well, and although I'm sure they'll express it much more eloquently than I, to thank the UN agencies in the region for having Grenada selected as one of the countries for intervention or for financial and technical support under the Spotlight Initiative, because it really has made a difference to the work that we do and has positioned us to be able to do much more work with better tools, better instruments, better guidelines, better protocols, more trained personnel on the ground going into the future. I wanted to record that word of gratitude.
And it's well taken. And finally, now looking ahead, all right, are there any future collaborative initiatives that, or planned projects that the Legal Aid and Counseling Clinic intend to partner with foreign partners, external partners, especially in the context of preventing and addressing the issue of gender-based violence?
The short answer is yes, absolutely. Legal Aid is a small agency. We do a lot of work, but many persons are surprised to find out that Legal Aid only has 10 staff, and of that 10, 5 of us are part-time workers, including myself as the director. So despite the small team of persons directly engaged within the agency, we managed to do a lot of work, and we do have the benefit of working with a number of partners. So for us to do the work that we do, we must depend on collaboration, support, technical, financial, and otherwise, from a whole host of partners. So we look forward to continuing to work with, for example, the UN specialized agencies. We have a really strong relationship with the Ministry of Social Development in Grenada, the Special Victims Unit of the Royal Grenada Police Force, the Child Protection Authority, GINA, Grenada Planned Parenthood Association, Program for Adolescent Mothers, and others. So we intend to continue our work. Now, our flagship programs, Man to Man, the Changes program, which, as I mentioned, is an empowerment program for survivors of gender-based violence. We have a program that is called Alternatives, which is a diversion program for juveniles who come into contact with the law, young men who are arrested and charged, who the court want to give an opportunity to get some rehabilitative support and to learn, negotiation skills and so on. They can be referred to Legal Aid through the courts or the schools or the police to do this program. So we intend to continue the suite of programs that we have been offering. We also want to upscale some of our initiatives. So, for example, Alternatives right now, while we provide support for young men who come into contact with the law and we do the alternative program, Legal Aid does not take on any criminal matters. So somebody who's charged with a criminal matter, Legal Aid cannot support it. But I want, as the director of Legal Aid, one of the things I want to see happen in the next year, soon in the short term, is to get to a point where Legal Aid can actually provide legal representation through some sort of special mechanism we will create. Legal representation only for juveniles in contact with the law. So it wouldn't be that any person who is arrested and charged with a criminal offense can get support or legal representation, but I'd like to see us be able to do it for juveniles, because we are concerned about the amount of time that juveniles can end up being kept in the legal system between arrest, charge, and having the matter brought to court and brought to a resolution by the court. So there are some things that we hope to upscale. There are some new things we'd like to introduce. Grenada has a significant problem with sexual offenses, including sexual offenses that are committed by juvenile males. And we would like to be able to provide some direct intervention to work with sexual offenders in a more direct way. Because usually we do not deal with those issues in a very direct or extended way through the programs that we run, like man-to-man and alternatives and so on. So we would look forward to being able to work with the UN specialized agencies through their own work that they were doing before Spotlight came along. Now that Spotlight is ending, I'm sure they will continue to have pots of resources and technical expertise that we will be able to rely on to get support for our programs. We look forward to continuing our work with the state. I mentioned some of the state agencies and parastatal agencies with which legally it has very close relationships, very, really good, strong working relationships. And we look forward to continuing that. And we look forward to being able to serve the Grenadian public. Before I go, Arthur, I'm sorry, Gordon. Usually it's you, Arthur, and I on these programs.
Of course.
So apologies.
Of course.
You know, I do want to say to the listening public that Legal Aid is there to provide support, guidance, mediation, and child support, maintenance, visitation, a whole host of issues. We provide counseling for persons who are referred by the system, police, court, school, church, ministry, or walk-ins. And we will continue to do that. After 35 years, our legacy is strong. We have a very good track record, and we want to continue this work. But I do want to ask clients and persons who are interested in support from Legal Aid, understand that we're not magicians. We're a small team with a really big set of responsibilities. And we will continue to do the best that we can. But we do ask people to understand that sometimes a little patience is required, because we, as I said, it's a small team of persons. 50% of the team is part-time. We have, people are entitled to annual leave. People are entitled to sick leave if they get sick. And I say all of this because people come into us on Monday morning, ask us to intervene in a matter, and by Wednesday they call. Or they fix it already, the matter's solved, And sometimes, it's almost never that quick. And then persons get upset. You're constantly threatened. People tell us they go on the radio for us, they go call the government, and you do what you feel you need to do if you feel when you're not getting the help that you feel you're entitled to. But just understand that we will do the best we can as long as we can. We just ask the public to work with us, to be patient, to understand that we have a lot to do and we want to serve everybody to the best of our ability. But it doesn't always, many of the things that are brought to us cannot be resolved with one phone call by the next day. It does take time. I just want to, I hope the public will understand.
They will. In wrapping up, for folks who, the phone lines are buzzing, but the nature of our time span this morning, we couldn't accommodate the call. So I'd like you to give people the opportunity to contact the Legal Aid and Counseling Clinic by disclosing contact information, please.
Right, so persons can call Legal Aid and Counseling Clinic directly on 440-3785 or 440-3788. You can send us a WhatsApp. We have 419-4112. 456-7571. So you can, those are two cell numbers. One of them uses WhatsApp, the other you can just call. You can also contact us via email, lacc@spiceisle.com or lacc3785@gmail.com. That is all the contact information. We look forward to hearing from, interacting with, and serving the Grenadian community well into the future. And as we end here today, we want, since the festive season is upon us, I take this opportunity on behalf of the Board of Directors of Grenada and my team at Legal Aid and Counseling Clinic to wish the Grenadian listening audience the very best for a safe, successful, joyous, and Merry Christmas 2020.
Mr. Buckmire, thank you very much for joining me this morning, and of course we'll be in touch as always.
Thank you, God. And all the best to you, and bye.
Keep up your good works as usual. Folks, I've been speaking there with Mr. Tyrone Buckmire, the director of the Legal Aid and Counseling Clinic. We take a quick commercial break. We'll be back after this. Don't you go anywhere.
I've been here doing nails since 2017. Me being self-employed, I have realized that paying the NIS benefits me now and even when I retire. By the time I'm 65, I will be receiving contributions back from NIS. So I benefit because I'm self-employed. Anything can happen. If anything happens to you while you're at work, you've got a bad cold, you have the COVID, you have dengue, we have all these diseases that's plaguing us at the moment. NIS will be giving you back some form of money when you're ill. So I would encourage all small business persons to sign up with NIS now.
You want to get an insight into your life? Are you willing to find astrological solutions? Master Shivrudra, the world's best psychic and spiritual healer with competency in other services too. He has guided many people who are going through a situation to find solutions to their problems and use astrological remedies for positivity. He provides services to get your ex-love back, negative energy removal, family problem solutions, health problem, and many more.
He located at Grenada CT, George's. Call him or WhatsApp +1 for 735375939.
With ever-rising energy costs, Southern Electrical can provide you with affordable, complete solar systems for your home or business. Reduce your utility bill to zero. Have power independence. Go green by harnessing the free energy that sunlight provides in our warm, sunny, tropical climate. We supply off-grid solar systems which are great for remote areas without utility power, as well as grid-tied and hybrid systems. We can customize your system to your needs, ranging from 1.5 kilowatts to 1 megawatt systems. Start saving today so that you can have extra money to go on family vacations, do home renovations, or further invest in renewable energy to generate electricity for income.
All right, welcome back, viewers and listeners. As I told you earlier, we've got a jam-packed morning. This time I've got with me members from the National Organizing Committee, Ms. Tia Cummings, Mr. Anderson Antwine, and the person to my immediate right, I just cannot remember the name, but nonetheless, welcome Ms. Gail Purcell, the head of the National Organizing Committee. You know, not so long ago we launched the Independence Celebration, and it's a work in progress. Activities rolling out throughout the year, and they're here to talk about a mobile library.
Yeah.
Good morning.
Good morning.
No, let's do that again. I'm into singing, so I like harmony. Good morning.
Good morning.
Oh my goodness, that's awesome. Lovely. It's a pleasure to have you with me this morning, of course, and just the talk of it excites me. Yeah, a mobile library. I love this.
We call it a mobile museum.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So get into it.
Right.
Tell us about it.
So I'll give you just a brief overview of the mobile museum. It's an initiative of our subcommittee of the National Organizing Committee, because we have a variety of subcommittees that are working to, execute a lot of the events. And we have a heritage education subcommittee that came up with this concept for the mobile museum as a way to supplement, engage our young people in the whole discussion around independence and the celebration of independence, and provide an educational tool that will support them and as well as the teachers in the school system. So the mobile museum is a structure that will encapsulate history from our national leaders to things about our national symbols, heritage sites, important points in our history overall. So we have a plethora of topics that will be rotated from school to school, and at some point each school will be touched by the museums.
What I like about this is we're talking history here, right?
Yes.
But you came along with your colleagues and they're very youthful. So that speaks volumes, because I have been pushing this agenda that, I don't think my children and grandchildren necessarily want to know what Christopher Columbus found us here. I think we have to be a little more recent in our history, and hence the reason for your youthful team.
That's right.
So tell us from your perspective, what does that mean to you?
Good morning again. It's all about engagement and empowering our youth. We have such a rich history, culture, and heritage, and this is an opportunity for you to have a deeper understanding and appreciation of our rich history.
Oh, lovely. My good friend.
Well, as I said yesterday in a meeting, and I was telling Tia, I said I wish that I'm a student right now to experience this mobile museum. I think it's very informative. It helps you to understand your history and where Grenada came from pre and post independence. And just to give the student the opportunity to create their own history and to learn about themselves and the generations.
Yeah, and that is so very important. And coming from you, Ms. Purcell, I'll tell you something.
I know.
I know this little guy. I literally watch him go. He and one of my sons were at PBC together, and he has evolved himself into a very powerful young man. You've got my.
And they're the drivers behind the project.
Yeah.
These are the two coordinators who are making sure it happens.
Right, good. So at the end of this museum project, what would have to happen for you to say, yes, it was a success?
Well, the project is part of the overall celebration, so it's going to be ongoing for the year. So it's not that we're just doing this from now until February 7th and then it stops. Once the installations will continue to be rotated throughout the schools. And the interesting thing about that question is yesterday we had a meeting with principals and teachers about the museum, and one of the teachers asked that very question.
Wow, I was flying on the wall.
She was very excited about it, and and it just opened her mind to the potential. She said, this can't stop with just this. Yeah, I mean, she saw that what the foundation is laying, that there's so much opportunity, and it will make it easier for the rotation of information. So it's a building block. We see it as a building block. Many of the events that we are rolling out for the celebrations, it's not just about this period. It's really, if you look at the theme, one people, one journey, one future. So we're talking about future. So part of it is what are we doing now that's going to have an impact on our future. So this is a new model of being able to transmit information, making life a little easier for our teachers that will have, because it takes a lot of research. It takes a lot. There's a lot that goes on behind the scenes, and kudos to our subcommittee who's really put in the effort in gathering this information. It's a group of historians and writers and people who really know the content and able to put it together and assist them to provide the tools there. So I think it's the beginning of what can continue.
I like that thrust, letting the young people get deeply involved, because they are able to relate to that generation in a more impactful way, and that's, but again, is this, because not so long ago, last week or the week before, someone spoke about our national library. Is this a sort of precursor so that when this project is dwindling down, are we going to see some standard libraries around?
Well, I mean, we can't speak to that now in our capacity, but I certainly hope that the two projects complement each other.
Okay.
But Tia can tell you a little bit about our launch, because the launch is coming tomorrow.
You got to tell us about it.
Yes, we're pretty excited. We're all ready. Grenada, Carriacou, Petit Matinique. We're ready for our official launch tomorrow, 10 a.m. at the St. George's Anglican Senior School. And it's going to be breathtaking. It's going to be captivating. We have a few of our speakers, and after they would have made their presentations, we're going to officially invite our participants, our school children, the teachers, the principals, to actually experience the museum. So we're pretty excited to share the knowledge with our youth. And just to add, as an extension to the first phase, so the first phase of the project is the launch of the museum and the installation of the museums throughout the schools. The second phase, or the second component, will be an inter-school competition. Yeah.
McDonald College all the way.
So here our young people will have the opportunity to put their own spin on this project. And what I mean by this is that the schools will be provided with a stipend, $500 EC to start off with. And various stakeholders, their alumni associations and so on, can assist them in purchasing additional materials to create their own mobile museums. These museums will have content relating to the history of the schools, the change makers, and the impact on their communities. So our students will have the opportunity to foster skills, teamwork, collaboration, creativity, leadership, research. So we're pretty excited.
Okay. From your perspective, I want to hear it from you. I mean, just coming through the ranks, I'm still seeing you with your PBC and being in that position now where you have the opportunity to sort of transform or aid the education system in one way. What would you like to see, and what changes would you like to implement?
So I will start with what I would like to see. I would like to see full cooperation, 100% support, both from the citizens and the schools and the students, to ensure that this initiative or this project moves forward. This project, to me, it's mind-blowing. It's just something that I will love, and I will want to ensure each student in Grenada to experience. And for a fact that where I'm sitting here, I want to ensure that everybody get the right opportunity, the quality and the time and sufficient time to get to explore this, and the information that we put on this can impact the students in a way that.
So this in itself is generationally changing things, right?
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, it's a gap is gone and a new segment is gone, and I want to see that. And this in itself, for my opinion, it will stimulate a lot. It should stimulate a lot of the creative juices that we know our people have. So we can see young people coming up from school and saying, "I want to write a history book."
Yes.
Do your research and come and bring Grenada's recent history in such a way that maybe it can be adopted by the ministry. I want this because I know we can do it.
Yes, and that's the component of the project, the school project that really allows for them to initiate their creativity. And there's a third component of a podcast. So they actually have an opportunity to put together a podcast sharing some of the information which they have learned, things that they've researched, which will later be publication. Well, we have a publication of the podcast. So. So it has a few components, and it will take us throughout the journey of our independence celebration.
As the guys from the Parang band from Carriacou would say, things happening in the area.
Things happening. And all events, all events are not necessarily just going to be loud events. Like the launch is a big deal. That it's a big that brings a lot of people together. Yeah. But there are multiple events, and we invite people to visit our website at GrenadaTurns50.gd. We have a section for events. It will give you the calendar of events and the timeline for those events, just so you have an idea of what's going to be happening when and where. So just to keep people abreast of what's going on. So this is our first initiative coming out after our launch, and then that's going to roll in. Of course, we know we're rolling into Christmas. January is going to be jam-packed. February is going to be packed. And then the events continue throughout the year. So don't anticipate everything's going to be in just about February 7th. It's not. It's a process. It's a journey.
Yeah, it's a milestone that we're celebrating, and it has to last.
Yeah, and we have to, and the parishes will start rolling out their events as well.
Right. That's that. Having said that, we have the museum rolling out tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yes.
Other initiatives within the celebrations. How are plans for that going?
They're coming along. It's quite a journey. It's quite a task. It's a huge task. It's a huge task, but we're plodding through, and we just thank you to the public for the support we've received thus far.
Okay, all right.
So Anderson's going to share something on the dates.
So I'm going to share. Well, our launch is tomorrow at the St. George's Anglican Senior School.
That's Heinze, right?
And that's Heinze.
Yeah, Mr. What's his name?
Mr. DeGale, most accommodating to us. Thank you. Thank you.
Excited about it.
He's one troublesome guy, man. Partners, good morning.
Very appreciative of it.
So the structure will be placed in each parish, including Carriacou and PT Martin. So for the school, for St. Andrews, we have St. Giles Anglican School. For St. Mark's Secondary. For St. David's Catholic Secondary. For St. George's, it will be St. George Anglican Senior and Junior School. For Carriacou, Hillsborough Government. For P.T. Martinique, where the structure will stay permanently, that would be the St. Thomas and Aquinas, Catholic School. St. Patrick is Grenada SDA Comprehensive, and for St. John's we have Concord Government.
Okay.
And that's where we started.
That's where we started.
The structure will be in the school for just 1 week, and then after our aim and our goal is to get the museum around all schools before the 7th of February.
Wow, that's a
after the 7th of February, we rotate it again, for maybe for 2 weeks per school.
Okay.
Our main goal and objectives is that the students take full responsibility of the museum. So we do encourage teachers to create groups or create committees or put a club or a group in the school in charge of the museum, especially like the Red Cross, Scouts, especially, just to create leadership skills and
Yeah.
For an opportunity.
So that's a multi-pronged approach. I like this idea.
Yeah.
Whose brainchild is this?
As I said, it came out of our subcommittees.
Okay.
It came out of our education subcommittees. They put it together.
Lovely. Anything else we want to add?
Well, just look out
I wish
for
we could talk until 9. But
I know we're out of time, but just look out for the launch tomorrow. It will broadcast online, live with GIS and maybe on GBN.
Maybe, just maybe. Never rule us out.
A few of our online stations will carry the feed, and it's at 10 a.m. and we'll share a lot more information. And just keep an eye out. And parents at your schools, at the schools of your children, feel free as well to pop in when you drop them off and see what the mobile museum is all about.
And don't forget to send me the information as they roll out. Send them to me.
Most definitely. Most definitely.
Well, I'd like to thank you for dropping by this morning, and I wish you all, and by extension the entire planning committee, organizing committee, all the best with the events. I know you have it hectic.
Yeah.
But I know to whom much is given, much is expected. So, so I know you can do it. Congratulations on this one.
Thank you.
We look forward to future engagements.
Right.
Folks,
we'll be back regular.
Of course, please do. Be my co-host.
Yes, we'll almost be your co-host.
Yes, let's do that. Folks, that's it for this segment of the program. Of course, I know I'll get I'll get a letter on my file that I skipped the BBC, but there are times that's the nature of the media. It's volatile and dynamic. So for those of you who miss the BBC, well, we'll make up to that. And that's it for this segment of the program. See you. Bye-bye.